Welcome back. Today we have a Miwa DS. This is a wafer lock. I believe it's a predecessor to the U9. Can't find too much about it online. I unfortunately can't read Japanese. There is a fair bit there. It's just all in Japanese. One of the purposes of this video is to demonstrate the lock, but it's also to try and help ascertain a belt ranking for the video. So already I've hit a wafer in there and hit a bit of a false set. I'm just using very light tension and quite light pick pressure at the moment. Just testing the wafers. Okay, a bit more movement. Very light tension now. Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. The pick I'm using is a custom by Evers, who actually was I believe one of the first people to film this lock. Yeah, all right. Now I've picked half a dozen of these. This one's pretty easy, I must admit. Let's zoom you out a bit. Now, what we're going to do, you may see down here, I've got one core out. That's because these cores aren't cuttable. Once again, this is a research video, so part of what we're going to be doing is, I'll put that there, finding out a bit more about these locks in general. Just going to pan you down a bit. So this is the lock we've just picked. It's notable these will relock every 180 degrees. Furthermore, you can pull the key every 180 degrees. So that's really something a little bit unique about them, and I was surprised, but once I saw the design of the inside, it sort of makes sense. I've got a few different formats of these, and a lot of the formats are very difficult to gut, as is the case of the one that you see there. That was actually a keyless lock, and the format is such that it's just impossible to get the C-clip out. Let's pull the core out here. I haven't gutted this one, so I'm not sure what I'm going to find. A lot of fluff. Yeah, it's pretty standard. Alright, so there's our core. And inside here you can see, I think, there are channels. For the wafers to sit in. Other than that, it's quite tubular. So nothing special there. Here you can see, compared to the others I've gutted, this might have a few less wafers. I think the others I've had 8 exposed wafers. This looks like, I suppose those are up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exposed wafers at rest. Let's see what happens when we put the key in. Sorry, I'll bring you in a bit closer. As you can see, in the middle here, I'll give you a bit of background. You can see which ones are up. As I put the key in, you'll see other ones that aren't up rise. So they're sort of overset traps, and I'll have a look at these later. You can see once the key's fully inserted, they're all in place. They're quite heavily spooled, so it's kind of a cool design in that regard. And you know, the overset traps are just as hooked and spooled as the others. So that's the one I picked anyway. Let's have a look at this one. This is another one that came in a housing like this. The C-clip's right down there, and in fact the housing's caught in there, but once again it's got its side channels. Once you get the core out, as you can see with this core, this plate is actually crimped on. That's a solid part around there. So the only way that you're going to get this part core apart is to actually rip this faceplate off, which I've done. It's quite thick and steel, so we'll call that the faceplate there. Now a spring has already come out. I believe that's going to be the spring for the first wafer. Also, these tabs are bent over so that to retain this first sort of, I don't know, warding faceplate. So that's coming off. Space for a spring on the inside of that. I'll put everything face up, so keyway side up here. There's our first, so the spring would fit in here, that spring. Their first wafer. A profile plate. Alright, what's retaining these now? I was hoping this would be a more straightforward gut now that I've done most of the destruction. There we go, yeah, once again, space for a spring. Which must have springed. No? Must have been no wafer there, okay. That's interesting. The other ones I've looked at have been more heavily populated than this. Another spacer. In fact, I know, oh gee, okay. Oh, there we go, that carriage comes out. Which way was that oriented though? I'm not sure. Oh, spring. I should probably arrange the just the wafers, because these parts look all identical. I should keep some semblance of the order of which these go back in. Although I very much doubt now that this is yeah, it's never going back together. Alright, let's just get all the spaces. Now obviously the spring part is down the bottom. So I'll collect all of these because then we can sort of get an idea for what sort of gates and not gates, spooling, T-pin type configuration there is. Sorry, this is a bit of a lengthy video and carrying on a bit, but as I said, the purpose of this is partly to help establish what belt ranking, if any of these belong at. So the time it takes for me to pick it isn't really a fair indication, I realise, because you know, I was picking a multi-lock the other day and realised that that's what I do for fun these days. So let's just zoom in a bit on these bits because that's the bit we need to see. That one does look a bit short compared to others have seen. I know this video is getting a little bit long already, but I'm just going to grab one more lock, gut it, and we'll see what's inside it. Come out, key. Yeah, I know I'm being a bit rough with it. I'm just trying to get a move on. I'll find out later. So there we go, the whole sleeve came out with this one, which is kind of handy. That allows you to sort of see that the gates will lock in, wafers will lock into those. And if we pop in the key, obviously that'll come out of there. That's just a housing. Once again, same style core, crimped face, so we can't really expect people to gut these beyond this point, but I think, you know, there's no reason why we can't sort of do that. As you can see, a few more levers at rest on this one. There is one down here on this side, and a bit more contrast once again. You can see not much going on down that end. Until the key goes in, pops up a couple. Also, nothing going on down here, but as the key goes through, so, you know, pushing the levers will potentially overset, and you can see that some of these levers, wafers in this one we gutted were double-ended, and they're the ones that are going to poke out if you overset them and perhaps trap you there. Anyway, that's all I've got to show you for now. Thanks very much if you're still watching, for watching all this rambling, and I hope you learned something. Thank you.